from a lot of men who have been used to suppressed women, misunderstood or misread to be submissive women. Right?
Yeah.
If a woman is suppressed, her strength is suppressed, her voice is suppressed, and she is behaving in that state of suppression. She is finding her expression within that spectrum of a soul or a mind who has been conquered. You're misreading that to mean
that she's
a submissive woman. Now, a lot of men have been seeing their mothers in that state, and that reading it to mean their mothers were women who submitted fully to their fathers. I wish a lot of men would have a heart-to-heart conversation with their mothers and ask them indeed what submission meant for them, and if they really were submitting to their fathers, or if it was a case of suppression.
The role of women in developing the world that we have envisioned and we have actually desired to have cannot be underrated. Women have served as a fueling force of productivity and continual growth that we all are benefiting from, starting from their sacrificial efforts in building a society, raising children, caring for their husbands, and as well as promoting the well-being of all in our society today. But have we overlooked and have we looked down on the right and equal privileges of women in our society today? Top of the season greetings to you, my inspiration. This is your favorite podcast host, Ekemini Ekwere, the face and the host of Uproots the Issue podcast, reaching you this very hour. Of course, this is a very interesting and insightful episode, reaching you to celebrate the International Women's Day. And so, Uproots the Issue podcast is a podcast that centers on self-growth, family life, and issues in the society. The major aim is blending ideas and knowledge together to eject those issues affecting your peace, because I prioritize your happiness if you know me better. And of course, this is an International Women's Day episode, specially carved out, cooked for you as a viewing pleasure to celebrate very auspicious and audacious women out there, remarkable women who have given in their all to promote the dignity of women worldwide. And so using this big opportunity to give a shout out to our mother. I'm talking about the host of Abeg Vex podcast, Mrs. Idonga, and all the women we've hosted, the guests we've hosted of Uproots the Issue podcast, including the beautiful one sitting here. I'm saying a very big congratulations. Keep on doing the good job. Happy International World Women's Day to you. We celebrate you in Nigeria. We celebrate you wherever you are viewing this. And in today's episode, we will be having a conversation on one particular issue that is trending the affairs of our society today. Are women equal to men? Are women equal to men? And so if you are looking at this question from the perspective of tax or from the perspective of access to equal opportunities, do you even feel that a woman is equal to a man? Should we have equal opportunities as far as God created us in his own likeness? Join us as we start the conversation. Once again, I'm your lovely podcast host, Ekemini Ekwere. The only face you'll be seeing on Uproots the Issue podcast, gleaming, because I love smiling, is an antidote to a poison that you may pour down my way. Of course, I have here a very adorable and elegant guest here in this room. She is a public speaker and a writer on socio-political issues. Anytime you see her and anytime you read everything about her, it speaks of gender equality, it speaks of advocacy for the dignity of our society, promoting our society anywhere, anytime you see her. This fantastic and beautiful guest here is also the director of IMA's Our Firm. It's a corporate social responsibility among individuals and corporate companies here They have the headquarters in Abuja, and they also have branches among states in Nigeria. My lovely viewers, please join me as we welcome Miss Ima Akpan.
Hello, Kemini. Thank you so much for having me. You have a beautiful studio here. I'm very relaxed, and thank you for all you're doing, also your contributions to positive conversations that build our society through this platform. Thanks for having me.
When public speakers meet.
Yeah, again.
But I must comment, like I said, you are looking exceedingly
Thank
beautiful.
you. Looking good is my culture.
Of course, they're pitching a point in there.
It's my culture.
Good to have you, ma. So we can start
Thank
the
you.
conversation.
Oh, sure.
All right. So, I would love to start like this. When we talk about a woman, what does it entail to be a woman?
That question is quite deep, but I had to mull over it when you sent me some of the things we have to discuss. What does it really mean to be a woman? What does it mean for me to be a woman? And from my heart and in my head, I just had to come up with this, that to be a woman means to be a human with feminine essence. A woman is a human being with feminine essence. A woman is a man with a womb.
Hey.
Yes. So we all can agree that in a lot of times when you're addressing human beings, there's a likelihood sometimes to just use he for everyone. And we also know that it is incorrect to use she
Yes.
for all humans when you're making a general address. So it just goes on to buttress the fact that women are men with wombs. We are humans with feminine essence. In other words, what a man is, a woman is also. In addition to that, she has other things. So there's actually even more to a woman. Here you go. You didn't expect that, right? But that's it.
Honestly, it's not really a good way.
Really, but that's it.
Because it seems I'm trying to question. I don't like to question, but I'm trying to question something.
Come to think of it, really.
Like a man with additional goals. What are those things that we don't have? I don't understand.
Come to think of it, a woman, what does woman mean? It actually means a man with a womb.
Okay.
So what you are, I am. But in addition to that, which I am, there are other things that you do not have that I have, but I'm also that which you are.
Please highlight them.
Come on, you do not have a womb. I have a mind, you have a mind.
Okay.
You have a heart, I have a heart.
Uh-huh.
I have a womb, you do not.
But
then the feminine essence, everything that comprises a woman, I have, you do not have. And that's a big deal, really.
But I have what it takes to fertilize a woman.
That's just biologically. But if we have to go to every other aspect, emotionally and other, you would see that women have a lot of advantages that I think we are not even taking advantage of. We are not deploying, we are not maximizing our full essence, our full giftings as women. Because really, what does it entail to be a woman? You're first of all a human being. Men are also humans. But in addition to being a human, there is something special about you that men need. Men most times need inspiration from women. There's a lot women bring to life. Beauty, growth, multiplication. You say, I saw some quotes somewhere. Someone said, men are the ones building cars. Men are the ones building this and that. What exactly are women building? Or what are women building? And then someone responded that it's actually a woman who brought all of these men, or who built all of these men that built this and that. Yeah, so that's it. That's what it is. And much more, aside from the fact that a woman is a human being with feminine essence, feminine qualities, She's much more. She is a daughter to her father and her mother. She is a wife to her husband. She's a mother to her children. And she is an indomitable force in the society. She is a rainbow that brings different beautiful light, that colors the world. And I would say, in summary, honestly, without a woman in this world, I'm not sure men will find life interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know, yes, your gender, you don't problem. It's okay.
That's in dispute. You can't dispute that.
Because the lines you gave out there was wondering, who did I offend?
Really?
Okay, so now moving, you've actually, pinpointed one thing that got me, which is the essence of a woman. Everything that you've described. And indisputably, I would say that without a woman, we wouldn't be where we are today. Because starting from the conception down to giving birth to a child, taking that long aisle of nurturing, I do notice something about women. They have this long term of patience, unlike men. So now they tolerate our nonsenses, they tolerate our excesses, they tolerate whatsoever comes their way. But we don't have that patience of doing that. And that what makes and beautifies the life of a mother. Although
eventually, as we are going to the conversation on which is gender equality, I would say patience is a virtue that is blind to gender. There's some men who are more patient than women, and patience should just be a human virtue.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So now, in our society today, I believe that it's just a microcosm of a diverse, family orientation. So you see someone from this family that, this one, you make a man. Or something else.
Yeah.
But then I'm looking at how do we get to know that this woman has worth,
Oh, wow. Okay. How do we get to know if a woman has worth or value?
Yes.
Very easy. Let's go straight to the family setup. In a family setting, just ask a woman, a mother of 4 children, say 3 boys and 1 girl, to travel for 1 month and leave those children in the care of the husband alone. Let's say a man who has had the freedom to be focusing on his work all along, while the woman is the mainstay of the home, has been most of the caregiver most of the time in the children's lives. Just take that woman away for 1 month. You're asking for proof of her worth and value.
Yes.
We all have an idea how the scenario will play out. Leaving a man who has really not been there, even if he's been there, but maybe not as much as the woman has been. I'm sure that house will be very chaotic. A lot of times, even husbands who have been trying their best, most often will call for their wives to come back as quickly as possible.
Yes.
That way, no right thinking, no healthy human being will question what the worth of the woman is. And that is even going to a woman as a wife. As a daughter, you know that if you ask any parent that is raising a boy child and a girl child, any parent that you don't even need to be too observant, it will be very glaring that it's easier to raise a girl child domestically. In other words, a girl child seems to just instinctively know what to do on how to take care of things in the house, take care of others in the house. You for a boy child, you have to go the extra length to drill in some of these qualities and virtues. And so you see that at an early age, girl children naturally catch up with homely qualities, caring qualities, not just for maybe the siblings, but even for the parent. And so when you have such a girl child, grow up with such expressions of qualities, leave you for some months, you're definitely going to feel the impact. The gap will be there. So the question of worth and value also doesn't come in. And as she grows all through her lifetime, you see she continues to exhibit those qualities. We are two, myself and my brother. He's a caring person, yes. But as a lady, I'm sure if my parents are to be interviewed, at a point you ask them to stop blessing me. You just tell them it is okay. Don't go for that. No, don't go, because they have so expressed blessings on a regular basis that I'm sure they do not know what words anymore to use just to tell me thank you for being our daughter. I believe this is more natural for the young ladies to look, you're not looking back, because family seems to be part of you. Family naturally becomes your responsibility. Nobody has to tell you, but it seems that for men, once a man has his family, it takes a lot for some men to really look back to know how their original family.
Yes.
What is original now? What's not original? Their parents,
home,
how they're doing. But so the value and the worth of a woman in the society, in our homes, honestly, the question of it shouldn't even arise, because it's glaring. It's there for all to see. Yeah.
So yes, if you are a lady, if you are a young woman, if you are a woman already viewing this is a conversation to celebrate the International Women's Day. Of course, International Women's Day is a global movement to project the abuse and the safeguarding women's rights, actually, to pitch women out there. When I'm saying pitching, that means promoting the women of our society today. So if you are a woman, I'm giving you your flowers. And if you've always been trying as much as possible at your very little corner to safeguard and promote the dignity of a woman, I would say thank you so much for keeping that. And please try as much as possible never to cease, because the dignity of a woman is a trailblazing, flower to where we are today. Because if a woman preserves that dignity, if a woman tries as much as possible to promote the integrity you people have, that is where we will have generations coming up. So this is Uproot the Issue podcast. Ekemine Ekwere is my name. I am the host, and of course I'm here with Miss Ima Akpan. On the conversation, are women equal to men? Okay, so thank you very much for setting the ball rolling with first what it entails to be a woman in a society. Of course, I learned that a woman first is someone that is a human being with a womb. That means that particular statement had,
it's a man with a womb.
A man with a womb, that means it's trying to paint the fact that there's more to a woman than just being a human being.
And in addition, you see, aside from our physical, biological womb signifies many other things. A woman births things. A woman nurtures things, qualities, virtues, morals, good things. We are not nurturers, we are multipliers. So we shouldn't ever downplay the truth that what some men bring, in quote, to the table, women multiply. Yes, so you bring a spermatozoa, a seed. She puts it in her womb. She brings forth a child. You bring seeds of greatness. She helps you birth the greatness. So a woman is really a man with a womb that births. So when you understand that there is a way you should treat her, there is a level of honor you should give her, there is a level of even carved out advantages you should deliberately put in place, knowing how the delicacy of her role in life, knowing how critical her role is, in life. There is just a way to treat her that I think developed countries have gotten a little bit right. For developing countries and the underdeveloped, some are still struggling. Some societies have gotten it right. When you understand the responsibility women take on and their role in the family, in the larger society, there is just even a preference you should institute for her. Not because men are not important, men are important, but the very role a woman plays is such that she should be given extra advantages to be able to carry out this role well, not for her sake alone, even for the sake of the man and generations to come. Yes.
Wow. So I'm looking at these advantages that we as humans we are blessed and endowed with, and that cuts across the men and the women. I believe that to some extent in American and other societies, I have seen that to some level we can actually it's feasible that women are not really accessible to several opportunities that are around us. They don't have access to them. So that gets to our question: what are those challenges that women are facing in the 21st century?
Okay, I would even start with what has led to us having a movement of gender equality, and even having a date such as March 8 to celebrate, women globally out there. There's a history, and as much as some persons may want to shake it off and act like it wasn't there, but there is a history of intimidation, a history of social imbalance, a history of work inequality, a history where women were deliberately suppressed. You do maybe the same kind of work a man is doing and you were paid lower just because you were a woman. And there's a history of women not being allowed to vote, to decide who a leader should be in the society. We're coming from a history where women were not allowed to go to school, and we know how empowering education is, and so for you not to allow a woman to go to school for this simple reason that she is a woman, that's the history we are coming from, and we are still not out of that yet, because today, even in the 21st century, we are still faced with some of those things that ought to even be history by now. There are still facts with us. There are still people's current experiences, which is very unfortunate. It means as much as we've made progress, there's still a lot of this with us, which is surprising in an era such as this.
That is advanced and developed more than the other.
Do you know? So we've there have been movements. People have paid prices. Women have had to have their privileges denied, have had to stand up to harassment, have had to stand up to power, to speak to power, regardless of what will happen to them afterwards. So people have paid prices to open the gates of prisons for women, whether it is virtual prisons or literal. There have been fights, there have been blood, there have been sweats. People have paid that price, and so it's something we shouldn't ever undermine. To have a woman like me go to school, be educated, have the access to tools that I have, access to things that men also have. At the point, there was a time I wanted to study engineering, right? And I'm sure, in fact, there's something my dad said that discouraged me. In fact, he practically discouraged me from going through that line. He said, in his words, that women usually are not outstanding in that field, that I should rather go for the medical, right? Now, this is not him discriminating against me. Rather, this is him who is a product of socialization, that women do not do well in this. So he is rather the victim of it. But I've been affected in turn.
Influence negatively.
Yes, I've been so you see, this thing it affects everyone at the end of the day, not just the women. So we've come to a point where thankfully, globally, leaders have agreed that yes, indeed, women's rights have been tampered with. Opportunities have been reduced by reason of the fact that they're just because by reason of the facts of their gender. And so there have been steps taken, policies made globally. In some countries they are far better than others, and so growth have been made. And so it brings us to the point of what IWD stands for. That's the International Women's Day. It just stands for, it's a day that is carved out to celebrate social, economic, cultural, and others, if you may, achievements of women globally in the society, and also a time to use in educating people, everyone, women and men alike, on how far we've come as women, on educating them, creating awareness on women's rights, on the need to actually balance this subject called gender, the gender cause. That brings us to the gender equity.
Yes.
That IWD represents. Gender equality, if you ask me, simply means it's an idea, it's a global need for all humans, irrespective of your gender, to be given fair treatment, to be given to be treated equally, to be given equal rights and opportunities. Everyone should have access to that, irrespective of your gender. No one who was born had chosen before he or she was born that he was going to be a man or a woman.
Yes.
If we all were given a choice, maybe we would have chosen differently. Just maybe, but we did not have that choice. But we are here on earth, first of all, as humans, created by God. Maybe, of course, born biologically through other humans. The fact is, when everyone is born, when you're caring for a baby, whether he is a male baby or a female baby, you care for them equally. Right? You give them the right, the same set of nurture, the same quality of care. When babies are babies, I think it's when somehow we grow up into adults, maybe young children, young adults, you start to see the differentiations.
Yes.
And this comes through socialization, what society is telling you that you are, what even your family is telling you that you are or are not. And sometimes family is wrong, sometimes the society is wrong. In fact, we have seen that the issues we have is as a result of wrong family orientation, wrong societal misconception, and so we found ourselves where we are. And so that's why there is a need to come back to what exactly is the right thing. The question now arises: are men and women equal? Are they not equal? When a baby boy and a girl is born as babies, is one superior to the other? Does it make sense to say just because this one has a particular genital, it means he is superior to the other? And because this one has a particular genital, she is inferior to the other? Obviously, it doesn't make sense. And that is not true. It's obviously not true. As humans, they're equal. Man and woman are equal. So, but I think that the confusion comes in when we bring the concept of religion into the mix. And because the Bible, a portion of the Bible says, in the family setting, a woman should, kowtow to her husband.
Submissiveness.
even the word submission, that same Bible has used for both the husband and the wife to be submissive to one another. It's funny how, isn't it's really funny how most often we don't, a lot of people don't want to look at that particular.
How it should be.
You know, so you see that there are a lot of biases, and that's one of the things gender equity seeks to address, to try as much as possible to eliminate this kind of heavy biases, discriminations, and the stereotypes that women are having to face in our society. I think generally that's it.
Okay, ma, thank you for actually highlighting that, because the topic about gender equality, you know, most people have actually hyped it. I would say that most people have misunderstood it, and most people feel that in this particular club, you know, Africans now, we always love to post that fact that a man is, you should see the man first before a woman comes in. And so, still on the conversation about...
I wish I was able to ask you, do you agree with it?
Yes, I'm coming there. I'm coming there, certainly. So the other conversation are women equal to men, to commemorate the celebration of International Women's Day. If this is reaching you this very hour, of course, it's a celebration that is aimed at promoting the rights of women. It is a movement that has that synergy of standing against the abuses of women in our society today. So it calls for gender equality, it calls for gender equity. Wherever you are, anywhere you find yourself, you are expected to treat a woman with respect, with honor, and with dignity. Okay, irrespective of the gender, we are all aiming at projecting and protecting the women. Of course, this started in 1922 when Vladimir Lenin, the president of Russia, actually set aside this day to celebrate the rigorous step taken by women when they involved themselves in the 1917 Russian Revolution. That was very magnificent. And of course, the UN, United Nations, the biggest organization in the world that seeks to promote world peace, actually popularized this in 1977. Everything, anything, and anywhere it seems and it seeks to promote the rights of women. So join us as we are on this conversation. This is Miss Ima Akman. You know, she goes by the nickname called Aima.
Aima, yeah. You can call me Aima.
So she is a community development advocate with medical background. Of course, she has been here trying to tell us and educate us, because yes, I'm still in the likes of being, you know, nurtured with this full understanding of the virtue and the dignity that comes with being a woman. And yes, you asked me a question if I feel that women are equal to men, right?
In fact, the question is more, do you consider men superior to men?
Okay, I would love to be biased, and I would love to be, but you know, as a product of an African society, where we've come to realize that.
I don't know. I really would love to know what's really your perspective on this, or the men's African men's perspective on this. Because
Okay,
do you know, have you realized that men hardly talk about their perspective on this matter?
Yes. We hardly talk about
yes,
it because
so,
we feel that we still feel. Yes, please, with due respect to men out.
Okay.
It's something I've actually realized. Because if anything comes up now, we feel that first a woman is not superior. That means the woman is under our control. You know. So anyway, such conversation arises if you are. In fact, what a popular African man hates and detests so much is hearing that a woman is above him. So from that fact that a woman, you know, we've actually witnessed phases of development in the African society where women were not even considered as anything. Okay, we're just seen as machines for producing children, trying to raise up kids in the home, taking care of the husband. So majorly, the role of a woman was just seen as the source of fertility. That's just all. Nothing more. She can contribute more to the society. So over time, we've been raised, I believe we've been raised with that influence that we are above the the women. So
Yeah.
anyway, you bring in that conversation, I will just wasting your time. Or more, we big past those guys. They are just we are meant to protect you. The fact that we have been entitled with that role of please go there and protect them, ensure that they are good. So that's why if you unapologetically you see certain men that once you just push that conversation, they seek to just back off. One, so that they won't hurt your emotions.
Okay.
Because when you make I've so far in 2 weeks time I've missed 2 friends because I was actually trying to cite a man. He said, how are you? We can't be friends. How are you? That means if you have opportunity, you want to marry a girl. I said, no. This is the fact is, let's try to see the truth about this. Yes, I'm rude. I made a comment sometime that women are often overruled by emotions and not rationality. Now, what I was trying to say is that oftentimes women don't take in time to really think. They just allow the emotion to lead. But they get to realize, once they are just calm, they get to realize, this is the truth about this. This is how this thing would have taken place. But I took a different role. I had someone that just blasted me. I was like, Jesus. So what I'm trying to say is, for me, about my own personal, because this is actually individual differences. But generally, I feel that the African society, we the men, the gender feels that we are superior. So
it's actually refreshing to hear you voice it out, because I've not had a man be courageous enough to to admit. There's usually this silence, but you can see it through the actions, through their reactions to something. You know that they are coming from a certain mindset, but that they are very unwilling to express that mindset, what exactly it is. But so far, it's obvious to see from the actions and reactions of a lot of men in our climes the mindset is that a man feels superior to a woman.
Yes, so the woman is inferior to the man, and that actually affects the way we see family orientation. And so when you see in marriage now, you see a man, there's a certain level of understanding a man puts in marriage. So a man just feels that he is first. That's why every time I preach about inclusiveness in marriage, it's not your thing. It's a two-man thing, a man and a woman. So you give in. You in fact, if she didn't even agree to marry you, so to say, would you have that claim of rights that you have as a father? So now the fact that she agreed, you knelt down, so on, and that I'm even interested that there are some men that I think I once engaged the guy in the conversation was like, what the hell of that nonsense? Trying to kneel down and proper. If I engage her, if I ask her out to marry me and she refuses, she bounce off. So you can't kneel down. Like his own problem is kneeling down to ask a woman out.
Someone who is inferior to him.
Yes. How will I kneel down? Actually, are we not getting married? Is it not the same institution we are going into? So it just shaped the way we have certain crises in marital homes.
Honestly, truly, this concept, this mindset, they actually shape the way our society eventually turns out. And that's why most of the time when there are public debates on this matter, I feel we are just dealing with it on the surface. The main issue is in the mindset that has not been corrected.
Yeah.
So I've had to have this conversation. I've had to ask some young men a question. Is your local government chairman, who is a man, superior to Ngozi Iweala? They found it difficult to answer. This was me trying to portray the fact that humans are equal. If you want to talk about superiority and inferiority, you have to contextualize them. In the economy field, where Ngozi is leading, you can say in her space, she is superior to even the men in that field.
But politically, looking at it from the political perspective.
Okay, you want to believe she is inferior to someone?
I feel that.
I don't even think we should be. I feel it's degrading to use the terms inferiority when it comes to humans. No human is inferior to another. In a certain context, someone can be the leader. In a certain context, someone can be stronger. There are women physically who are actually stronger than some men.
Yes, yeah, that's true.
And this issue of that women are more emotional than rational. What if a lot of women have been affected through wrong socialization in terms of their minds have been a bit underdeveloped through the family way, through the society, who keeps telling them you shouldn't be more educated than this, you shouldn't have logical thoughts as strong as this, you shouldn't be so strongly opinionated. And so maybe most times they just try to dim the way they think, to dim it out, because there are men are also emotional, but maybe men are also socialized to not be too emotional. You're not expected to cry. You're not expected to express. So all of these things are socialization. So, and then it is individuals now who break free from some of these stereotypes. For example, the way I speak, some people would say, oh, you're talking like a man, but it is not true. I have a mind, and I'm developing my mind as a human being, first of all. So every human should develop their mind. Every human should develop their body. Every human should develop their spirit. When you are developed, there's a likelihood that your leadership qualities begin to sprout, and it's natural for you to lead where you're doing better than others in that circle. So it doesn't mean as a human I'm superior to someone else, or a man who has developed himself higher than me, who is leading me in that sector, is superior to me. But if there's nothing really wrong with those words, it is just the way sometimes it is used. Yes. So indeed, all humans are equal.
Yeah, for me personally,
all humans are equal.
Personally, in this climb, it is one thing I advocate every time, any day, that anything that has to do with accessing opportunities, it should be on an equal platter. So a woman should have the same access to the opportunities I should have, politically, economically, be it anything as far as life is concerned. Yes, we are equal, and so we should access the opportunities that God has endowed and blessed us with. So irrespective of your gender, whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, whatsoever you see as one I believe from the problem of men, it has to do with the place of respect. Okay, will the woman respect me? But me, I feel personally that the same way you treat, I just
respect is earned.
Okay, so what's with this? Yes, I love the rule, the golden rule.
Yeah, what do you think
what do you expect someone, or the treatment you expect from people, to please in your own little corner try as much as possible to express it around.
So I think what we face today, I don't know if we've got, maybe I don't know, we should wait to that part of discussing challenges of 21st century women, but let me bring some of those. I believe what we are facing in this part of our challenges is gender crisis, gender role crisis, gender identity crisis. What do I mean by that? For a lot of men who have been used to suppressed women, misunderstood or misread to be submissive women. Right?
Yeah.
If a woman is suppressed, her strength is suppressed, her voice is suppressed, and she is behaving in that state of suppression. She is finding her expression within that spectrum of a soul or a mind who has been conquered. You're misreading that to mean
that she's
a submissive woman. Now, a lot of men have been seeing their mothers in that state, and that reading it to mean their mothers were women who submitted fully to their fathers. I wish a lot of men would have a heart-to-heart conversation with their mothers and ask them indeed what submission meant for them, and if they really were submitting to their fathers, or if it was a case of suppression. Because really, we mix up these things. So the crisis comes when you were used to your mother acting like a submissive woman. Whereas she was suppressed. And you're looking forward to see that kind of woman as a wife.
As a wife, yes.
Meanwhile, this is your mother that was likely not educated. Even some were educated, but
not really exposed.
Not exposed. And so a lot of their rights were suppressed. Yet you're growing up with a female counterpart that you went to the same nursery school with, primary school, secondary school, university. She's had a degree, she's had her master's, most are going for their PhD. They're handling managers in organizations, they're directors in boards, they're making key decisions, they're senators, they're governors, they're doing well, excelling. You're asking this, you're practically expecting that this woman should come under the sort of suppression that your mother came under, and then you're thinking that is what submission means. Okay. So a lot of men are yet to understand how to deal with the 21st century woman who is enlightened, who is educated, who is exposed. It demands for a different set of life skills for the men. So when you do not have these skills of how to relate with a woman properly, the ideal way that you were not taught, neither by your father, nor by your teachers in school, nor by the society, you come into a certain kind of crisis. And so a lot of men are finding it difficult to relate with what is going on. And so there is that anger and confusion at the same time. But really, what the situation calls for is a different set of knowledge, different set of skills on how to relate to the woman properly, on how, what the ideal thing is, and how really to promote that ideal thing in the society for the benefit of all, including himself and his children.
All right. So you've actually, the word I'm loving the conversation as we are going gradually, and so we can have a view of Nigeria. I want us to reduce now to our own climate, because I believe before we understand this conversation and we give out value there, we need to talk about our own environment. So for the past 65 years, 1st October will make us 65 years since we got independence, the advent of government that is self-governed. That means we had independence. And so far, since 1999, we've also enjoyed, let's say, 26 years of no absence of military interregnum, in the democratic practice of Nigeria. We've never for once had any woman being the president of this country. And that is a question that I have actually asked myself over time. Why is it that it's not possible? Or is it a glory that we should expect that a woman one day will lead this country?
First of all, every society has a level of growth and progress they've attained and made. And politically, we know. We have a history. We know where we're coming from. Generally, we know the women's movement has a history, like we've established earlier on in this conversation. There are some countries that still deny women the right to vote, to participate politically. And in our climb, I'm not sure it's too long where women started showing up actively in politics. So if this is a male-dominated sector of life, it is just natural. It is just natural to see that shouldn't be a surprise that a woman is yet to be a president of Nigeria and even other countries. This is because the percentage of women who participate in politics is too minute, and even out of that small percentage, it takes time for you to grow to a point from the grassroots politics local government, to states, to the national level, and for a lot of times when you see democratically elected presidents get to that point, they've come through a long way. Like our current president, he's been in the trenches for years, So it's not a surprise that he is the president today. So just imagine if a woman had such trajectory over time. So, but eventually we're getting there. For me, it's not always a thing of it has to be a woman occupying a certain seat. If men are occupying the seats and coming up with policies and laws that protect everyone, that shields everyone, that honors everyone, irrespective of your gender, I don't think people will be fighting so much about a woman being in the office, a woman not being in the office. But I think most times it's because women's rights sometimes are trampled on, opportunities are decreased, are limited, and our well-being not necessarily protected or considered. I think that's where you see women push for more women to get into political offices and help to enact laws that should protect the women. But even some of the women there, I don't know how much progress they're even able to make. Because at the end of the day, majority will have their way, even if minority has say in this case. So that's it for Nigeria's presidency.
Okay, so now just looking at the Nigerian environment, we've seen that a few weeks ago, this should be 2 weeks now, on Thursday, we had an outburst in the highest, the zenith of the Nigerian legislative arm. And so the whole issue has been trending. One cardinal point there is hampering on gender equality, preaching everywhere. The women, everywhere, the rights of a woman has been hampered on. And there is this question that is trending now. Why is it that? Why is it so with that female, legislator? And why, and the other gender will ask you, okay, why would she have to display that in the Senate, that she has actually, violated the standing rule of the Senate? I'm talking about Rule 6 that says that you can speak from anywhere you are sitting, so far as the presiding officer, being the president, actually allocates that seat, and it may change at any time. And so it's also bringing that question is, why would she have to, even if there's a matured way she would have handled the situation, or when people are concerned, is it out of something maybe that has been behind the scene? And so that brings us to the question, what is the comments that you have to share about it?
Okay, you see, for the female senator in question, it goes with her experiences so far. Of course, she's granted an interview not just too long. There are accusations she's made, very heavy ones, I must say. But her experiences so far that she has expressed, it buttresses the point of this gender inequality we've been addressing. That a woman can be so treated in a way that underscores the fact that this ill treatment is meted out to her just because she's a woman. First of all, we've had that sort of scenario with with the current Senate leader, who was a minority leader some years ago.
That was in 2018.
I'm not sure anyone in all of those conversations had started questioning him as a man. There are questions to Senator Natasha today. Is that it means she's very disrespectful to her husband? She does not have respect. Why? That is with gender undertones. She's a senator, like other senators there, and they're there to represent an entire senatorial district. People are looking up to her to speak on their behalf. People are looking up to her to address matters that affect their interests. And so if within the chambers, she sees that her ability to speak, her abilities to voice the concerns of her constituents are tampered with. she has to protect that. She has to voice that out. That is why she is there. And she has the right to protest when she feels that the rights and of course, by extension, the rights of her constituents have been tampered with, have been maligned. She has that right to protest. And of course, from her explanations on TV, in the media space, not too long ago, she has explained most of the things that have happened before then, and how even she was not notified of a change of seat. How does a full-blooded, well-voted for senator walks into her space, only for her to sit, and then you're asking her, "Oh, madam, your seat has been relocated to another."
I was thinking that it was labeled, with her name. So
I believe there are rules to this. If you're changing seats, of course, she should be notified adequately. She's a senator. She has her full rights there. All of them are colleagues, for God's sakes. And she should be respected. So that, she said, wasn't done. She wasn't notified. Only for her to go sit on her usual seat, and then you're telling her that she has been moved to another place. And of course, her complaint is you're moving her to close to exit. In other words, she's screaming suppression. She's screaming suppression. She's screaming intimidation.
Yeah.
She's screaming malignment. And these are things we should look at. Is it true or not? But you see, people will be talking about that woman is disrespectful. Disrespectful? If it was a man, is that the same reaction you give to him? Would you say the man is disrespectful? So you can see that the kind of questions that are being asked are gender questions. It means that she is somehow inferior, the fact that she is a woman. And so this it's worrisome. Why it worries? It's worrisome because if a woman who has political power, such as she does, she has political power, she has financial power, she is well exposed, she is well educated, she is a lawyer who knows and understands her rights.
I never even knew that.
Yes, she's a lawyer. And now she's a legislator, and she is married. You see, when I hear things like, "Oh, marry so that men will respect you more," this is a married woman we are talking about.
Yeah, I understand.
You can see the level of disrespect given to her on the social media space by some people who are on the other side of the argument. She's not just married to a commoner in quote. She's married to a well-respected man in the society. Now, the question I'm asking is, if this kind of woman can go through this level of intimidation, alleged sexual harassment, workplace oppression, what do you think other women are going through in different spheres of life?
Stories that are not told.
And another question I'm asking the men who seem to be supporting this, when you do this, how about your daughters? You think your wife is safe? Because it's easy to stand by what you think you should support. When the tide turns around and it affects you, who's going to speak up for you? Because what if like the senator is alleging that this man is sexually harassing her? If you were to be the husband of Natasha, what would be your response?
Or what would you do?
Would you still stand by your position? If you have a daughter, what is the need of you spending so much money to send her to school, to have quality education? What is your aim? It's because you want her to have some advantage in life, to be elevated, sort of, to not face some things.
Yes.
So, but by your actions and today, you're supporting a system of harassment. You don't think it can happen to your daughter?
Wow. Thank you very much, ma'am. Fantastic viewers, on the quest of knowing if the women are equal to men, we've tried as much as possible to first look at the concept of being a woman, trying to look at the 21st century challenges that women are facing in a society, and of course, the role that women have, the role that women are playing in building a better society for us. Of course, if this is reaching you this very hard, this has been a very worthwhile conversation to celebrate the International Women's Day. I really want to congratulate you, my lovely viewer, being a woman. And as please, I will also tell you that if you are a man, this is reaching you, try as much as possible to protect a woman, try as much as possible to give a woman that premium treatment. She deserves it from your corner. And at the same time, if we are trying to question the place of gender here in our society, please let's look at the golden rule that the same way you want someone to treat you, try as much as possible to extend it to that same person. We all are equal. There is no place of gender inequality. There is no place that God has endowed the other gender above another. The simple rule is we are all sent to the world to utilize the opportunities we have and turn it to our own advantage, whether you are a man or whether you are a woman. And this has been a fantastic conversation with Miss Ima Akpan. She is a community development advocate with medical background. I really love to appreciate her for coming on the show. And
thank you.
Happy International.
Thank you. Thank you, Kemini.
I really appreciate it. I really love
for having me. It's been a delight.
And what are you giving to the viewers as message?
We must empower ourselves. Our young girls need to be empowered with knowledge. They need to be protected because their essence is very critical to the growth and development of our society. So all of us, every hand has to be on deck to do this, not just for our young girls, for our wives, for our sisters, even our mothers. And let's do the next generation. Let's make them proud. Let's do this for ourselves and for the for legacy's sake. Thank you for having me, Kemini. I appreciate it.
For coming.
Thank you.
Elegant woman. So this is me telling you, from your little corner, do the little you can. Try as much as possible to always, at every time, preach gender equality. Protect the woman, safeguard the woman, and eschew from any form of harassment, eschew from any form of suppression against the rights of women. I love you all, and until next episode, please do well to take your mother, your little sister, your auntie, any woman that has been very fantastic to you, take the person out, give her a premium treatment. I love you. From Mr. Uproots the Issue. Just stay safe.